And good morning. Welcome into a segment entitled Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions with Gateville Law Firm and Sean Robertson on WSPY. And let's welcome in Sean to our studios. Sean, how are we doing this morning?
Doing well. How are you doing today, Mike?
Doing pretty good. We want to welcome you in for a brand new segment. Again, it's called Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions. Gateville Law Firm, and your name is Sean Robertson. Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into today's topic.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mike. My name's Sean Robertson. I'm the head attorney at Gateville Law Firm. I've been practicing law for 19 years. I went to DePaul University College of Law in downtown Chicago, went to U of I in Champaign for undergrad, and we specialize in real estate and estate planning in Yorkville. So again, we started Gateville Law Firm because our goal was to serve the community with real estate and estate planning law.
Good, and there's lots of ground to cover here, I'm sure, and maybe our listeners need some information and a direction to be pointed in certain matters that they're dealing with, and that's where you guys come in handy here. We'll mention this again at the end, but GatevilleLawFirm.com is where you can go for online assistance, and 630-780-1034 is the phone number. We'll, again, highlight that towards the end, but figure we get it out there at the beginning of our first show. So we want to just kind of focus on today's show about estate planning attorneys. What are they, and what role do they serve?
Yeah, Mike, I think the first thing that we do as estate planning attorneys is we help people plan their estates, and a lot of times people have blind spots when it comes to their money or their children. So what we do is most of the time we ask them questions such as, what happens if something happens to your spouse or your kids? And a lot of times these are blind spots that people haven't thought about. So I think the first thing we do as an attorney is we help people identify what their blind spots are in their family. And those blind spots are things that will cause their family headaches in case they had to dispute it in court. And then the second thing we do is we try to find strategies where we help people transfer their assets from one generation to the next in a cost-effective and easy manner.
You mentioned the blind spots. There's probably a lot of them that people have no idea about, right? You can think of two or three maybe that jump right up to the top of your mind, but you might know of so many more that, well, you better consider this option and this option because, like you mentioned, if you don't have it covered ahead of time, it could really be a problem down the road.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the blind spots are, almost in every meeting we have a couple questions that people can't answer and they've never thought of. That's a frequent statement that we hear. And those are the things that I think would keep people up at night, and those are difficult answers for a lot of people.
And then going into the other point you mentioned about transferring assets from one generation to the next, how difficult of a road is that for families to work through, and how essential is it to have someone like yourself to help them navigate that?
Yeah, I think it's really essential to have a professional like ourselves to help them. And each family's different. Some families, it's a fairly easy process. They have a very vanilla family. And then there's some families, quite frankly, that have blended families. They've got step kids. They've got kids from an outside relationship. It gets really difficult. But that's kind of our job to help them. And in many respects, they don't even know the problems that they have, especially if they have, grandkids, stepchildren. Maybe they're estranged from somebody. So our job is to basically figure out how to transfer their assets from one generation to the next, basically.
And also, you guys are involved in helping people with strategies to protect their assets, right?
Correct. So a big part of my specialty in 2008, I did a lot of work with people. Those were some pretty tough times during the Great Recession, where a lot of people are concerned about their assets and particularly retirement. And what they don't realize is one lawsuit can destroy you. So a lot of times what we see is there will be people that own real estate in their personal names and they own businesses. And a lot of times that's a mistake. So we help people basically come up with strategies to protect their assets in a way where if they did have a lawsuit or some incident, we can protect them.
A lot of good stuff there as we're just getting started. Plenty of topics to cover over the course of the next several weeks. And we'll do it all right here on our show called Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions, brought to you by Gateville Law Firm Sean Robertson. Gateville Law Firm in Yorkville. You can find them at gatevillelawfirm.com or call 630-780-1034 at Gateville Law Firm. Trust Matters.